Let's go. Let's change it up. We're on to the other side. Strap that band around the toe. And there it is again. Starting with the straight leg. Let's stretch it out. Focus more on the back of the leg, less on the calf. You can incorporate the two if you want. Allowing the toe to pull down toward the knee will activate the gastrocnemius. Pulling the toe over the head or over the face will get that biceps femoris a lot more. All right, there it is. Keep holding it there, relaxing up, making sure that that muscle is getting lengthened. Good work. That pelvis is always nice and flat on the floor, nice neutral spine. I'm going to roll straight into the second component. We're moving on to the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus stretch. To the outside we go. Adjust your foot position, allowing you to keep your lower back supported on the mat. We don't want to put the body in any compromising positions here. We don't want to injure you while you're stretching. And even if you start there, that's fine. It's not about how far you can stretch, it's about the quality of the stretch that you're doing. Stay nice and relaxed the whole time. Good stuff, guys. Keep it going. Obviously, the lower body musculature, the left of the arms. I'm just going to move into the third component of the stretch now. The lower limbs are the ones that tend to do the most work, especially in the running and the cycling. So the majority of the stretching that you're going to do will focus on this musculature. So there are a number of upper body stretches that are critical, but obviously you really want to maintain that, you know, the stretching is going to actually allow the lower body musculature to function as it should. So we're just holding on here. We've got another 10 seconds. Don't forget this inside, you feel on the outside of the leg. Good stuff. Keep stretching, keep pulling. And we're done. Good work. Well done, guys. I'm going to put the bands down. We're going to move on to some body weighted stretches with no apparatus. The first here, we're going to move on to the front of the thigh. So we've done the back of the leg. We're going to move on to the quad and the hip flexor. Obviously, very, very important musculature. This is just your basic hip flexor. And the muscle in here is called the rectus femoris. The quad muscle, it's one of four. That's why it's a quadricep, quad being four. We're stretching and pushing the hip forward and down. And you feel that stretching all the way through the middle of the thigh. That's the rectus femoris muscle. It crosses over the hip and it crosses over the knee. So this is part one. This is a sequence. It's quite a nice sequence because you pretty much stay in the same position on the mat. So we're just going to hold this one. The more you can move into the stretch, you can put the hands down on the floor, you can move even more forward. Really pushing it down. Again, pain-free range of motion. You should not be extremely uncomfortable. There is an element of discomfort purely because the muscle is being lengthened. You have to hold the stretch too. It's essential that you hold the stretch. Part two of this stretch, we move straight into, and if you have knee issues, this one is a little bit more risky. So don't want to do this if you have got extreme knee issues, but what we're doing here is we're going to bring in, hand goes to the floor, right into there, and that's the position that we're going to hold. Now what you can do just as easily, you can put this up against the wall, you can put your Swiss ball against the wall. You want to keep the balance there. If you find that you're falling, there's no problem with keeping the hand down on the floor like that. All right? And we're just holding that stretch. You don't want to pull on the toes. Try and get your hand just around at the ankle position there if you can. If you can't get it around there, put the hand on the floor and just come in at a slightly less intense angle there. You're going to start feeling this stretch a little bit further down toward the knee. Still the hip flexor being lengthened the whole time. Okay, let's put that knee down. And for the third one, I want you to go up. And this is a really deep one. It really lengthens out that hip flexor. Nice deep breaths, focusing on relaxing. That's awesome, guys. Just holding it there. This takes a little bit of strength. You can feel there's a little bit of tension generating up in the thigh, on the hammies. If you find that that's getting a little too intense for you, drop the knee back down again. And we're going to add the final component. We put the hands up over the head. We lean backwards. By leaning backwards, we're now opening up the abdominal cavity, the hip flexor, and all the way down into the quads. We hold that position there. All right, good work. Guys, let's change it up. We're gonna move on to the other leg. So we start off, knee on the floor, foot on the floor, and we're just leaning forward. All right, there it is. Just pushing that hip forward. That's hip flexor, the quad, getting out a good stretch. That's it, good stuff, guys. Just holding it there, relaxing, focus on that breathing. Perfect. Need a bit of support there. We're gonna put the hand on the floor. We're gonna rock around. Now don't get yourself into any dangerous positions here. You wanna make sure that you're able to hold on to this position here. All right? You wanna have chest open always. Good posture is essential to these stretches. Don't wanna put the lower back into any complicated positions that might aggravate it. The knee, the same thing. You wanna make sure that that heel is moving straight up toward the butt. You're not allowing the heel to go left or right. It's tracking in its natural tracking position. The patella's on the floor. If you need to put a bit of extra cushioning under the knee, you can totally do that. That's perfect. Good work. There we go. I'm going to leave that there. So we got two options on the final component. Either up and forward or just forward. But remember, now the arms are over the head. We're opening up, even through the chest, we're starting to move to the upper body a little bit here. That's it. There we go. Pushing it back. Opening it up. Really feel that up through that hip. That's awesome. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Okay, so we're going to leave that one. I'm going to move on to a couple of upper body stretches now, and I'm going to start on the abdominal area. So I'm just going to grab a hold of my ball. You can get your Swiss ball too. Now, the abdominal area, because we spend so much time running, cycling, the abdominals become very tight. So this is a pretty simple exercise, pretty simple stretch to do. All it involves is, and it's quite nice, it's just lying right over the Swiss ball, hands hanging down to the ground. Not only is it opening up the abdominal wall, but it's also opening up the pec and the shoulder girdle. Just getting the setup ready for a couple of the stretches we're going to be doing now. We just hang in there. That's pretty relaxing. If you find the blood's rushing a little bit too much toward the head, you can drop the bum down toward the floor, support the head a little more. Hold it for another 10 seconds. And good work. Okay, so